This beautiful insect is, without a doubt, one of the most extraordinary species known to us. Like all butterflies, the monarch undergoes a complete transformation from caterpillar to chrysalis to butterfly. This metamorphosis, the transformation from something limited by gravity to something practically without limits, is extraordinary in its own right. However, the monarch butterfly's metamorphosis is just the beginning of its incredible story. Every year, these tiny insects make an extraordinary migration across all of North America, spanning distances of over 3,000 kilometers. This odyssey, and the ability for something so small, so delicate, to do something so grand, defies all logic and probability. However, the monarch isn't the only thing with such an extraordinary story. Starting life as a tiny family-based non-profit organization formed in a living room, emilys-entourage embodies another awe-inspiring metamorphosis. With no scientific background, no fundraising background, and no experience in running a non-profit, this small but mighty organization, fueled by desperation and hope, has managed to do something which defies all logic and probability. It began with a quest to find and fund any promising research opportunities for the final 10% of the cystic-fibrosis community. Today, emilys-entourage is proud to be at the forefront of not one, but several new therapies making their way toward clinical trials. This metamorphosis, from a tiny non-profit organization to a pioneering research powerhouse, is beyond what anyone thought was possible. Now is our time to emerge from the chrysalis, ready to spread our wings and fly. Welcome to the 2022 Evening with emilys-entourage Gala.
Wow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 11th annual Evening with emilys-entourage. The Flight of the Monarch. What a truly beautiful theme for tonight. And how awesome it is to be reunited out of our homes, out of our cars, at the Mann Center on this beautiful October evening with very high likelihoods of torrential downpour. For those of you who are joining us from home, we feel your presence. We also hope you're dry. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As many of you know, I'm Emily's brother, Kobe Kramer-Golenkoff. I'm so excited to be back as your MC for this very special night. By now, we've become experts at devising creative solutions to overcome challenges. In that spirit, you may have noticed that my sisters Emily and Annie, along with their parents Liza and Michael, were in a separate tent as an added precaution against COVID-19. They're like our nice neighbors over there. As you saw, the monarch butterfly has so many striking parallels to emilys-entourage. While the monarch incubates in a chrysalis before making its astonishing transformation, emilys-entourage is making a transformation of its own. EE's preclinical work has been incubating in the laboratory for many years now. Our projects are finally advancing, with some showing so much promise that for the first time ever, they're about to make the flight from the lab to human clinical trials. We're talking real people. This is undoubtedly the most exciting time in our history, and it is your unwavering support, your generosity that got us here. You make EE's visionary work possible. Our family started emilys-entourage because we were in a race against time to save my sister, who was born with a rare mutation of cystic fibrosis called a nonsense mutation. Because Emily's CF is so rare, it was getting very little attention and even less funding. CF is a life-threatening disease that primarily affects the lungs and digestive system. Emily, or Ia as I call her, has 31% lung function and spends countless hours trying to salvage that, with intensive breathing treatments, over 30 pills a day, and insulin shots for CF-related diabetes. From the beginning, EE has been singularly focused on speeding life-saving breakthroughs and a cure for everyone in the CF community, so no one is left behind. 3 years ago, the FDA approved a revolutionary new therapy that benefited 90% of the CF population. But the final 10% are still waiting, hoping and praying that a new treatment will reach them in time. Tonight, as I speak, some 500,000 monarch butterflies are in the midst of their legendary annual fall migration to Mexico. Like the final 10% with CF, monarchs are at risk of extinction, but like our entourage, they band together to achieve the seemingly insurmountable, steered by a shared focus on the critical mission. Some of the leaders helping fuel our mission are our generous gala sponsors. A special thank you to tonight's presenting sponsor, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, our dream team sponsor, Cystic Medicines, our violet sponsors, AbbVie, Bloomberg Philanthropies, Boehringer Ingelheim Pharmaceuticals, Enterprise Therapeutics, Lovely Bride, Recode Therapeutics, Spirovant Sciences, Tito's Handmade Vodka, and Viatris. Thank you to our individual presenting sponsors, Jill and Mark Fishman, Marcia and Ned Kaplan, and Eli and Pauline Neerman Family Foundation. And thank you to our premier in-kind donors, Harvest Seasonal and Color Reflections. Of course, we could not have pulled this night off with our talented and hardworking board of directors, scientific advisory board and leadership team, and our awesome gala planning committee and steering committee. Thank you all so much. And our deepest appreciation to the mighty emilys-entourage staff, Laura DiTrapano, Chandra Ghosh, Ashley Knight, Mariah Oakley, Megan Shapanka, and EE's honorary president, Annie the Prez Kramer-Galka. A few other special thank yous, Spencer Carr, Gibby Wagner, and the Hogan Lovells team. And to Simon Rogers and the whole team at A Little Better Co., a big shout out for developing the outstanding video we just watched and being the geniuses behind the campaign video that we'll watch later this evening. On behalf of all of us at EE, thank you for your deep commitment and incredible generosity. We are eternally grateful. We're so lucky to be surrounded by a sensational swarm of support. Whether Mark Fishman is bringing my quarantined family their favorite bagels from the shore, or working tirelessly on our leadership team, he and his wife Jill have become family. Mark, please join me on stage. Your impact, your contribution to our metamorphosis is enormous, and we are so grateful.
So, Liza, I have a bone to pick. I can't see you, but you must be listening. I have a bone to pick with you. When you asked me to introduce our honorees tonight, you promised me I wouldn't follow a KG, because no one wants to follow a KG when they speak. And that's a lesson that everybody learns that's been to these galas before. Anyway, it's my real pleasure tonight to introduce our honorees for this evening. The Kaplan family I've known for, I don't know, 35, 40, a long time, before probably a lot of you were born, who knows? And they're really an amazing family. They're everything you would want in a family, in the sense that they're very not flashy, not, out there, but meanwhile, behind the scenes, they're doing so much for our community, obviously EE and so many other wonderful causes. And their connection started with Ivy, who was a friend growing up of Emily's. And once you're a friend of Emily's, you become a friend of the KGs. And once you're a friend of the KGs, your family becomes a friend of the KGs. So it all started with that. And then the Kaplans became friendly with the KGs. And Ivy married Matt, and Matt was really smart. I know he's really smart. I don't know him very well. I met him at a Sixer game, and then I talked to him tonight. But the reason I know he's really smart is, first of all, his last name is Solomon, and that's the wise. And the second is he married Ivy, so he had to be really smart. Okay, so we thank Matt for following the family tradition of being connected. And then when it comes to Marcia and Ned, my first memories of Marcia were as Senora Kaplan, when she was teaching my now 30-something-year-old kids Spanish at Gateway when they were probably 3 or 4. And you didn't do such a good job, by the way. I don't say that, but that's okay. And then it comes to Ned, and Ned I've known a long time, and he's really an amazing human being. And I'm going to tell you a story that literally, something Ned did for me that literally changed my life. And it involves Emily and emilys-entourage. So I'm going to guess, I'm really bad with time. I think it was 6 years ago. Something like that. I was soliciting Ned for a charity, and we had breakfast together at the Marriott, which was sort of a routine thing for me those days when I was, anyway, and Ned was generous as he always is. And we had a really nice breakfast, and he said to me, Mark, do you know anything about emilys-entourage? And I said, no, I'd never heard of it. And he said, do you mind maybe, giving it a little bit of money? So I said, of course, do me a favor and send me an email, and I'll look at it. So the next day or two, I don't remember when, I was on the train going to New York for work, and there was Ned's email, and there's a link to emilys-entourage. And I opened it up and started reading. The first thing I looked at, I saw that Ted Bernstein was on the board. He was chair of the board. I don't know, you're still chair of the board, but we were then, right? And I saw Nancy Fox, who I saw here tonight, who was a dear friend. And so I called her, and she gave me the whole story, not just the emilys-entourage story, but the whole story about the whole KG family. And I was really taken, and per what I promised Ned, I sent in a small contribution. And it was right before Thanksgiving. And like 2 weeks later, they were having this gala, a little different than this one, not to be sure, that was at the Baldwin School. And so I went by myself, and I went there, and I met the whole KG family, and it changed my life. And probably Liza would remember, I don't know, a week later, they called me and said, can we have coffee with you? And I met them for coffee. We probably spent 2 or 3 hours talking, and it changed my life. I mean, they're just the most amazing family. Anyway, so I will always be grateful to Ned for that, because if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't be here tonight. And as I said, the impact it's had on me personally is beyond anything you can imagine. So without further ado, here are our honorees. They're going to
Oh, geez.
It's heavy. Give it to Matt. Give it to Matt. Come on.
There you go. Well, thank you, Mark. Those were very kind words. Good evening. Growing up, Emily and I lived parallel lives, but she lived on the Lower Merion side, and I lived on the Harridan side. So we never met. As luck would have it, a camp friend of mine named Allie Daniels started at UPenn and immediately told me about her incredible friend, Emily Kramer Gollenkoff. I was awestruck by the stories of Emily's strength and determination before I even met her. So it was amazing when I moved back to Philly about 10 years ago, and Emily and I became dear friends. Despite her time-consuming therapies and medical needs, Emily is always present for her people. Whether it's been to celebrate my business opening, watch my dance performance, or just chat, Emily has been such a supportive presence in my life. It is truly my pleasure to stand here and help the whole KG crew fight for transformative change.
I'm shorter. Ivy and Emily were very instrumental in having the parents meet. Ned and I had a blind date with Liza and Michael at Jake's in Manayunk. We fell in love with them and eventually their entire family. Conversations with Liza were most transformative for me. Liza was always upbeat as we discussed Emily's entourage, but spoke with a sense of urgency, and her worry was palpable. Those were the nights I'd lie awake and ask myself, how does Liza do it? She never stops. She never slows down. She never takes no for an answer, and she never, ever complains. The answer is clear. She does not have time for that. Time is of the essence. This is a mother racing against the clock. It was an easy decision for us to come on board, take this flight, fight this fight with the Kramer-Gollenkoffs, who we love dearly.
For me, it was impossible not to notice the similarities between Emily and Ivy. Both were the same size and age. They were smart, vivacious, and pretty. And tonight they're even wearing the same color dress, unplanned. The difference was that Emily had a devastating disease. I knew that if our daughter were in a life-threatening situation, we would do exactly what the Kramer-Gollenkoff family is doing. Anything and everything possible. There are many good causes, but the difference with Emily's entourage is that we know and care deeply about Emily and realize that the advances that are made for her will benefit so many people who are currently being left behind.
This entourage has been at the forefront of CF research. We want to thank all of the new supporters and everyone who has been around from the very beginning. Let's make this night truly special. Please join our family as we renew our commitment. Let's all give generously to help EE spread its wings and fly to the next level. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Wertheimer, a longtime board member, Emily's friend, and I'm so happy to once again be an Emily's Entourage champion this year. Thank you to my dear friends, the Kaplan-Solomon family, for your leadership and generosity tonight and always. In a moment, I'll introduce you to my fellow champs, philanthropic leaders who have raised money that will help propel EE towards urgent breakthroughs. I also want to recognize two of my own champion teammates who are here in person tonight, Ariel Greenstein and Beth Lavin, as well as the rest of the team who we know is watching from home. I've had the privilege of seeing Emily's Entourage grow into this powerful transformative force from the very beginning. Emily and I met on the second day of freshman orientation at Penn and later found ourselves in the same sorority that year. We lived under the same roof several times, including the first year after college when we rented apartments directly on top of each other. I really think there's some mystic material there.
but we had a great time. We've moved on from those days as life progresses, and with the happy times come the difficult ones. But as you've heard from others this evening, Emily and the rest of the KGs have found a way to show up for me and my family. Sorry. Be there by my side again and again. So how can we not show up for them many times over? Aside from being one of my closest friends, Emily's metamorphosis into an award-winning, nationally recognized CF advocate that you saw slides of has influenced and inspired me so much to have the courage to advocate around my own disability in my own life, a topic that brought us closer together. She's brought so much richness into my life, and we're here tonight so that she and the entourage can continue this groundbreaking work towards a cure for CF. And with that, I'm joined this year by 21 amazing champions. Champions, please come up and line up in front of the stage for those of you present tonight. Okay. Some fun facts about this group as they line up here. One is a first grade autistic support teacher with an addiction to Amazon shopping, as many of us probably have. Another hails from New Orleans and just had her photo featured in Vogue magazine. We have a champ who danced in the Macy's Day Parade, and two others who have really hit the jackpot and are about to have Kobe as their son-in-law. As for me, I'll just say that, those of you who know me understand how absolutely relieved I was that there isn't a Phillies game tonight and know where I'll be tomorrow and Saturday. Thank you so much to our cherished champions this year. In total so far, you have raised over $36,000. Truly incredible, an all-time record high for EE champions. And now it's time to reveal the champion of the year. Kobe, will you please come join me and do the honors? Drum roll. There you go. Good.
It's very dramatic. Congratulations to our 2022 Champions of the Year, Team Seeking a Cure. This is the team of Ia's best friends from college. Ariel and Beth, please come up, joined by Julie. You've raised the most money during your campaign, over $16,000 and still counting. Truly unbelievable. You guys are the best friends. Another thank you to Nick Dingus for being the chair of the champions and the mastermind behind this entire campaign for many years going. Thank you. We love you guys. You can get off the stage now. And champions, you can sit down. Thank you all so much. Now it's my supreme honor to present to you the premiere of our 2022 campaign video, which vividly captures the impact of your support for the final 10% who are still waiting for their breakthrough.
It's not a little thing to feel hope. I have a dog, a brother, a mom, and a dad, and I also have cystic fibrosis.
You have a dream when you have a kid, you have a perspective of what you think your parenting style will be like and what it will be like to be parents. And when you get a diagnosis of cystic fibrosis, it really changes your perspective a lot.
When you have CF, every moment you have to fight, both mentally and physically. But when you're fighting against things like your own body and against time, Hope is hard.
There's a lot of emotion watching your child grow up and have to deal with this.
Breathing, swallowing, digesting, these things are supposed to be automatic. You're not supposed to think about them, but not me.
I think that one of the worst parts about health is the uncertainty of what's next. What are you going to do? How are you going to get the help that you need? How can you protect your kid? There have been times in Maggie's life where we didn't have an answer. The doctors have told us that we had to say goodbye, or they didn't know what was next. Emilys-Entourage is working to answer that question, the hardest question that you can ask in health. What's next? We need the next.
Last year, we found out that Emilys-Entourage has developed a promising new phage therapy. This new phage therapy could actually treat my antibiotic-resistant bacteria. That could change my life.
We trust in the future. We trust that research is going to make this easier in time. And we continue to have that hope.
That truth exists, that there's a cure, there's an answer, there's a solution for us, for our child, for all the other families.
That's our next, and we hold on to that. And we're grateful for Emilys-Entourage for making that next for us.
And that hope, that's not a little thing.
One day, as I was doing my rounds as a medical student, I had a patient with cystic fibrosis. I was explaining to her in great detail exactly what was going wrong inside her body. And she stopped me mid-sentence and said, "Look, it's clear you know exactly what's wrong with me. Why can't you fix it?" That moment changed my life. You see, cystic fibrosis is one of nearly 100 human diseases caused by a missing or defective protein. Now, when someone loses an arm, we're able to replace it with a prosthetic. So I began to wonder, could we create prosthetic replacements for these proteins? Could this be a way to treat the underlying causes of diseases like cystic fibrosis? Most people believed it to be impossible, too far-fetched, far too risky. Emilys-Entourage was the one organization that believed in us enough to fund our idea. They were the spark that started our fire.
The path from theoretical laboratory experiment to potential medical cure is impossibly complex. It takes vision, discipline, significant financial resources, and relentless passion. Emily and her entourage embody that passion. Many years ago, we met Emily and the entourage. EE had been considering early-stage drug candidates that might work for rare and nonsense mutations of CF, and was assembling a team to help them evaluate promising candidates. When I first met Emily and the entourage, I was admittedly skeptical. I wasn't sure they understood the magnitude of what they were asking for. But Emily's passion is infectious. After more than a year of diligence, Tally Bio was willed into existence. Emily's approach is so much more aligned with how innovation happens, to move faster, to be more agile. Tally, now renamed Spirovant, reflects this innovative approach. These technologies, gene therapies, once we understand what we can do for people with cystic fibrosis, we have the hope and ambition to take it beyond for many other diseases, especially rare diseases with no other solutions. We now have hope for countless people awaiting new treatments and cures, regardless of genetic mutation.
We talk a lot about the final 10%, but the truth is, final 10%, they're my friends. They're little kids with big futures. They're mothers and fathers and daughters and sisters and brothers and lawyers and artists and people doing incredibly important things in this world. And most importantly, people with critical things to do in the future. Their futures depend on us. And that is what Emilys-Entourage is all about. I've been blown away by what we've been able to achieve thus far, and I am so excited and hopeful about what I believe we are on the brink of doing next. You've helped us form companies that are developing potentially life-saving new therapies. You've helped us attract the best and brightest researchers to the field, and you've helped us create hope where there was none. We are where we are today because of your support. But now is our moment to finish the job. Please support Emilys-Entourage. Your contribution can make our dream of fast breakthroughs for the final 10% a reality.
I was feeling fine, totally fine. I'd been dealing with some non-lung issues, and as a rule out, the doctor asked me to do an at-home pulmonary function test, or PFT for short. So much rides on the results of this one test. Do I have a lung infection? Do I need to be hospitalized? Is my disease progressing? And let me tell you, the anxiety leading up to PFTs is no joke. So when the doctor requested that I do an at-home PFT test, I launched into my most clever evasion mode, pulling out all the stops to try to get out of doing my PFTs, but it was to no avail. And so later that evening, I found myself reluctantly digging out my PFT device, gearing myself up to do the dreaded PFT. With my mom by my side for support, I engaged my diaphragmatic muscles, took a deep breath in, and blasted. I could feel my face turn beet red, the veins in my neck bulge. I was squeezing out every last bit of air from my lungs, feeling like I was about to pass out. And finally, the alert sounded, indicating that the test was done. I erupted in my routine post-exhalation coughing fit. I mean, blowing out so hard, it takes quite a toll. And that is when the real panic sets in. The device processed my results, and within a matter of seconds, a number reflecting my lung function popped up on the screen. It's a number that dictates everything. Sick or stable, hospital or no hospital, progression or status quo. One number on which my whole future depends. And then it appeared, 27%. I looked again, 27%, are you kidding me? It was the lowest number I had ever seen. Panicked and petrified, I thought something must have gone wrong with the test. And so I did it again, 27%. And again and again and again, the numbers didn't budge. My heart shattered. 27% was end-stage disease. I plunged into a deep state of grief. This was new territory for me, and I knew exactly what it meant. It meant that my doctors were going to want to list me for a double lung transplant. It meant that my hope of benefiting from the drugs in the pipeline was no longer a possibility. It meant that life as I knew it was over. This was my nightmare, and it was coming true. 27%. The doctor said we were going to have to make some big decisions, but first they wanted me to come into the hospital to do PFTs in the hospital laboratory. I will cut to the chase here and share that when I retested my lung function at the lab, the results provided yet another surprise. Not only was my lung function not 27%, instead, I blew my highest number in recent years, returning to my stable perch in the mid to low 30s. It turns out that I had experienced an at-home PFT glitch, and my lung function was actually perfectly stable. But the experience was a sobering reminder of how fast things can change. One test, one number, it dictates everything. That's the thing about advanced stage CF. I live with this constant, painful awareness of how fragile my body is and how quickly everything can come crashing down. And it creates a real sense of impermanence, like I have no grip on my health or my life or my future. I have no illusion of safety. It's like I'm walking on a tightrope, teetering on the verge of life and death. I'm concentrating my hardest to maintain my balance, but I know full well that all it takes is one misstep or a little gust of wind to throw off my center of gravity and knock me down. There are no safety nets in tightrope walking. And so it was that one bad test result caused me to spend a period of my life grieving and preparing to die. That is life with advanced stage CF. But it hasn't always been this way. Back in 2008, I lost a significant amount of lung function that I was never able to recover, plunging me into the 30% lung function range and this new phase of advanced stage CF. The 30s are considered a milestone in the progression of CF. It's when you become eligible for lung transplant evaluation and when you no longer qualify for most clinical trials. When I hit the dreaded 30% range, life as I knew it changed. My safety net was swept out from under me, and I felt vulnerable. I was vulnerable. And so I launched into a survival mode. My singular goal became staying alive. My health became my top priority. Every single decision I made, big or small, was based on what was best for my health. Everything else was secondary. You know, there's a simplicity that comes with life in survival mode. With a singular focus, priorities are clear-cut and extraneous concerns of everyday life, they melt away. But I think sometimes what you don't realize is how much gets stripped away to achieve that singular focus. It's not such a big deal when the survival mode lasts for a short, defined period of time to get you through an acute crisis. But for me, this period of survival mode has lasted for 14 years and counting. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel profoundly lucky to have achieved some semblance of stability for 14 years. When I hit the 30% range, lung function range back in 2008, nobody would have predicted that I would still be alive today. But that good fortune has come with a cost. Truthfully, I don't think I even realized the enormity of the cost that I incurred as they were happening. Over the years, I lost my opportunity to travel the world. I've lost my independence and my career. I've lost the chance to become a mom and have a family of my own, and I could go on and on and on. But perhaps the biggest loss of all, I've lost my belief in the future. For 14 years, I've been suspended in this state of impermanence. My grip on this earth so tenuous, I'm perpetually one bad test result away from my demise. 14 years like this. But before you assume this is a sob story, I have to stop you right there. Because it turns out that survival mode was exceedingly effective in two ways. The first, it worked. 14 years later, and despite all of the odds, I am still here. And second, it spurred the formation of this crazy little organization called emilys-entourage. Desperate for hope, we immersed ourselves in the science and started investing in research. We sprinkled lots of seeds. We invested in lots of different research projects. But the truth is, we didn't know what we were doing. We had no clue what would work or if anything would work. We were planting seeds of possibility, seeds of hope. Since those early days, the seeds sprinkled thoughtfully but aspirationally, they've been growing underground. Not every seed germinated, but some did, growing deep roots. And that is what brings me to today. This year, we've hit a turning point at emilys-entourage and in the therapeutic landscape for the final 10%. Those seeds are starting to bear fruit. In the past year, we brought on our first ever full-time Chief Scientific Officer, Dr. Chandra Ghosh, to lead our research and drug development program. We are so lucky that Chandra is here with us tonight. Chandra, don't kill me, but can you please wave your hand? We have vastly expanded our clinical trial matchmaking program, which connects people with CF with clinical trial opportunities to accelerate the drug development process. We've completed 2 projects and we have 5 others in the works. We have deepened our relationship with the FDA to advocate for the urgent unmet treatment needs of those in the final 10% and to smooth the regulatory path for future therapies. And just next month, we'll be announcing our round 7 grant recipients. We received more applications this year than ever before. But I have to tell you, the part that I am most excited about, what's making me more hopeful than ever before, is that the therapies that we helped create and advance, they are making transformative leaps. They aren't just research projects being conducted in labs anymore. They are trials in gene therapy and mRNA therapy, trials on molecular prosthetics and ENaC inhibitors and more. Clinical trials being conducted on real human lives. This is what we hoped for and prayed for so many years, but it felt too audacious to even dream of. And now it's happening right before our eyes. The success of these projects is a powerful demonstration of EE's ability to identify and advance the most promising research. And it's not just one therapy, it's multiple therapies in multiple therapeutic areas. This is your support, your love, your faith in action, creating real hope for life-saving therapies for people like Maggie, for people like me. To have multiple therapies advancing to clinical trials for a group in which, until now, there's been virtually nothing, represents a critical juncture for the final 10%. The tides are turning from a pipeline devoid of hope to one filling with opportunity. We have reached a critical tipping point for the final 10%. The research has gained momentum and it's crossing a critical threshold, that inflection moment at which everything changes. That moment is now. After 14 years stuck in this surreal, suspended state of survival mode, being stripped of my independence, my chance to become a mother, my very belief in the future, I was so singularly focused on my survival that only now am I fully appreciating the magnitude of my losses along the way, the collateral damage of this prolonged state of survival mode. And that's because for the first time in 14 years, I feel hope again. Just to be clear, it's not hope that I survive. It's a hope that's infinitely bigger and bolder and more transformative than that. It's the hope of thinking about the future with butterflies in my stomach rather than pangs of terror. The hope of feeling permanence in this world without fear of missteps or wind gusts knocking me down. The hope of having faith in my body that one bad test result won't spur my demise. But more than anything, it's the hope of creating something powerful that changes the world, not just for me, but for Maggie and Stacy, Aiden and Lizzie, for everyone in the final 10% still waiting and fighting desperately for their breakthrough. For the first time in 14 years, I believe that future is possible. Why? Because clinical trials represent the final step before drugs go to the FDA for approval. It doesn't mean they'll work. Plenty of drugs fail in clinical trials, but to have multiple therapies beginning clinical trials means that for the first time in history, we have a sightline to breakthroughs for the final 10%. That is the progress that EE is powering, made possible by your unwavering support. Over the past 11 years, we have come so far, farther than we ever dreamed possible, but we are not there yet, far from it. And let's be clear, you don't make it this far to the home stretch of the drug development process to give up now. This is the time to dig deep and double down like never before, to finish the job for the final 10%, because we have therapies to advance, drug approvals to get, and healthy futures to secure. This is our moment. Now is our time. Getting there is up to all of you. This entourage, all of you, you are the dreamers and believers, the risk takers and breakthrough makers, a collection of the most passionate and devoted people in the universe, gathered together on this flight of a lifetime to develop life-saving breakthroughs and create a future where we can all, 100% of us, finally breathe easier. Thank you.
Wow. That was unbelievably powerful. Thank you, Ia. Changing tones a little bit here. For those of you who don't follow Ia or my mom on Instagram, I have some pretty exciting news. This summer, I got engaged. Thank you. After 2 amazing years, I asked Lexi to marry me, and the rest, as they say, is history. Since you asked, happy to share the details. Leading up to the proposal, I was obsessed with everything going right. I planned for months, sweating every detail. I was going to ask her on this beautiful jetty in Maine, leading to this picturesque lighthouse. So the morning of, I go out there 3 separate times in preparation. I had to find the perfect rock to propose on. Had to be flat, good surface area. I even Googled tide charts to make sure there was a low likelihood of submersion. And then I practiced kneeling. Is it left knee or right? Ring box or no box? There's a lot of things they actually don't teach you. And I've Googled them. For all the obsessing, looking back on the day, the most poignant part for me was actually a quiet moment in between the grand plans. Lex and I were walking back from the jetty, newly engaged, bubbling with excitement. And I felt this profound shift. I went from looking down, focused on the tactical details of the proposal, to looking up and soaking in the magnitude of all the exciting things that come next. When should we get married? Should we check out houses on Zillow? Are we ready for a dog? It was wildly exciting and liberating to feel like everything was ahead of us, like we were holding the rest of our lives in our hands. I share this story because the feeling I got that day was the exact opposite of survival mode. My focus wasn't singular, it was expansive. I wasn't staying alive, I was living, planning for the rest of my life. Here I am taking this big bet on my future because I believe in it. It's a privilege. It's too easy to take for granted. I see Ia fighting for every breath against this horrific, horrific disease, doing everything humanly possible to stop its progression, and it's still not enough. We've seen the fragility of Ia's health firsthand, how one common cold can trigger full-blown lung failure. Despite looking deceptively healthy, Ia is sick. Her disease is progressing. She's teetering dangerously close to end-stage disease, and it's soul-crushing to see. We don't talk about it much because it's too scary. It's too painful to touch. I need Ia, and I can't imagine a world, my world, without her. And now to be thinking so excitedly about my future, while my sister fights so hard to survive. I don't know how to reconcile those two things. I would love more than anything for Ia to feel what I feel. Like she can plan for a future that actually feels possible. Like she can think about the future with excitement and possibility, like the best is yet to come. And the chance for that future is up to you. This has been a transformative year for EE. You heard Ia. We've reached a tipping point for the final 10%. For the first time in history, we have multiple therapies advancing to clinical trials. It's clinical trials that hold the only hope of giving people like Ia and Maggie a future that's exciting and expansive and filled with opportunity. And that's what it's all about. That's why we started this organization. And that's what's driven us every single day since. But I don't have to tell you this. It's why you're all here tonight. You know, 11 years ago, when we were dreaming up emilys-entourage around our kitchen table, we never could have imagined that our tiny family-founded nonprofit would turn into a research powerhouse, driving exponential progress, building pathways to new therapies, creating hope where there was none. It defies all logic and probability. But then again, conventional thinking rarely leads to extraordinary outcomes. If you look at the monarch butterfly, these tiny, delicate creatures that pull off one of the most extraordinary feats in the natural world. They travel an astonishing distance, driven by instinct, sheer will, and the power of community. And just like the monarch, this is our flight. We are defying logic, shattering convention, and creating a future for Ia and everyone like her that is full and free. Now is the time to spread our wings and fly. By being here tonight, you have already given so much, and we are immensely grateful. If you're in a position to do so, I'm asking you to give a little bit more. Please take out your phones. We'll get more upbeat here, don't worry. You should have received a text message with a link. If you click that link, it will take you to our mobile donation page. If you're having trouble, we have volunteers who are here to help. Whether you're here in this space or watching on Instagram or Facebook Live, what will you give? We have 5 minutes to crush our goal and soar. Let's do this. So we have an ambitious goal because we believe in this entourage, and we have had the most tremendous year and event that we've ever had. We're looking to reach $50,000 tonight. But if we've learned anything from this entourage, is even the most seemingly insurmountable task, it happens. Thank you for all of you for your unbelievable contributions. We are eternally grateful. Thank you to Spencer and Julie, our champions, Nick. Thank you to Jennifer. We are getting there. Watch these donations trickle in. If you didn't get a text, you can text CureCF to 44321 and you'll get a link to our mobile donation page. This is unbelievable. You can just see the numbers ticking up. Thank you, Katie and Terry and Sarah. We are wildly grateful to all of you here in this room or those joining virtually. We're ticking up. Nice.
25. I have some big news. So tonight we just came in. We just received a $25,000 match for everything that comes in. So for every dollar that you donate, that will be $2. $50, $100. That is huge.
Unbelievable. Your donation goes twice as far tonight. Everyone who's joining virtually, you can text CureCF to 44321 and make a donation. If you give $100, that is $200 to emilys-entourage going straight to research, finding the most promising scientists and researchers and institutions to funnel the money and find a breakthrough. And we've got two incredible people here right now. Hello.
And we have more good news. We have more good news. We just found out that we got a $10,000 donation from a CF family.
Unbelievable.
Let's keep it coming, everybody.
Keep it going.
Marsha, Ned, come join us.
And a gift from a CF family, that is the ultimate gift. People who have more stake in this than we could possibly imagine, putting their faith behind emilys-entourage because of the incredible work that we are
Brian,
doing.
thank you very much. Come on, dig deep, everybody. We need your help.
We get a match, so every dollar is worth $2. Dig deep.
We have 2 minutes left and we're ticking up. And you know what? Barriers have never stopped us before. Ceilings mean nothing to us. We blow through them. We blow past them. Thank you all so much. Let's see what donations continue to funnel in.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick and Allie Daniels.
We thank anonymous too.
Thank you, McCall and Juliet. And thank you all for showing up here tonight. Your presence also means so much to us. Good job, guys. And thank you to the Kaplan and Solomon family. This would not be at all possible because of you guys. Guys, we are killing it. We are crushing it. I hope you feel this. We are out of our mind excited. And all this means is we go back to work and work harder and faster for the people who need it.
Thank you, Duran. Thank you.
We have 50 more seconds left. Let's see what we can get to. You should all be so proud for all that we've accomplished. We are so grateful.
$53,000, that is huge.
All right, I need you to get ready because when we get to 10 seconds, we're going to cheer it up. We're going to celebrate all of the amazing, amazing work that we've done.
Thank you to the Steiners.
All right, let's clap it up. Let's hear it. Woo! Thank you all. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for showing up in the biggest way. We did it, y'all! Over $50,000 just in this moment. Thank you.
Can we turn back time? We kids, we don't care what they think. Lighting fires, taking pictures, writing lyrics, spelling ink. We're the runaway kids, we don't care what.
All right, we've got a really exciting thing in store for you. So if you are standing up, I would encourage you to sit back down because we need you, and we are going to close the night off very strong. We've got folks who are coming up out here on stage, and we're going to pass along the mics to end the night with a celebratory feeling that we all deserve because we earned it, and this has been unbelievable.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're good.
All right, people who are standing, please take your seat. We've got one last act here, and it is going to blow your mind. We are so excited to introduce the fabulous Untouchable Angels Choir. Please take your seat and enjoy this one last act here. I'm very excited to introduce, one more time, the Untouchable Angels Choir. Woo!
You know the bed feels warmer, sleeping here alone. You know I dream in color and do the things I want. You think you got the best of me, think you had the last laugh, but you think that everything good is gone. Think you left me broken down, think that I'll come running back. Baby, you don't know me, but you're dead wrong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't feel what doesn't kill you makes you taller. Stand a little higher. Doesn't feel lonely, not alone. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Just to be yourself tonight. What doesn't kill you make you taller. Stand a little taller. Doesn't feel lonely, not alone. Yeah, you heard that I was starting over with someone new. Yeah, they told you I was moving on over you. Hey, you think that I come back and come back running? You tried to break me, but you see what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little harder. Doesn't mean I'm alone, even I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes a fighter. What's the season lighter? Doesn't mean I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes you y'all. Hey! Woo! All right, I like that. Y'all got up and party. Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Woo! Yes. Come on. Y'all ready? Hey. You could be amazing. You could turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You could be an outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking of nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle beneath your skin. Keep the really inside and no sunlight. Sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what can happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Hey, honestly, I wanna see you be great. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be great. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Oh, everybody's been there. Everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling for the fear and nothing disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. Don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of cage you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Yeah. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Yeah. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say, the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Innocence, your history of silence won't do you any good if you think it would. Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Come on, baby, grab your hands and go. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say. Words fall out. Honestly, hey, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. Wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Yeah, I wanna see you. Wanna see you. I wanna see you. Wanna see you. Yeah, I wanna see you be brave. I wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Woo! Yay! Y'all singing, angels. Okay, y'all sound good. I'm gonna do one last song, all right? Y'all still with us? Here we go. Hey, can we start that over? Let's run that back. Let's take it back to the top. And give us more track. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. If you know it, sing it. Here we go. Right, turn off the light. We're gonna lose our minds tonight. What's the dealio? I love when it's all too much. 5 a.m. turn the radio up. Where's the rock and roll? Party crasher, penny snatcher. Call me up if you a gangster. Won't be fancy, just get dancey. Why so serious? So raise your glass if you are wrong. And all the byways, all right, up the storm. We will never be come on and raise your glass. Oh, just come on and raise your glass. Hey, slam, slam, oh hot damn. What part of party don't you understand? Wish you just freak out. Hey, can't stop coming in hot. I should be locked up right on the spot. It's so on right now. Hey, party crasher, penny snatcher. Call me up, you a gangster. Come on, don't be fancy, just get dancing. Why so serious? So raise your glass if you are in all the right ways. All my underdogs, we will never be anything but loud and nitty gritty, dirty little freaks. Won't you come on and raise your glass? Oh, just come on and raise your glass. Oh, just come on and raise your glass. Won't you come on and raise your glass? Hey, hey, hey. You know, so if you're too school for cool and you're treated like a fool, you can choose to let it go. And we can always party on our own. So raise your glass if you are in all the right ways. All right, underdog. We will never be anything allowed. And nitty gritty. So come on and raise your glass. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, raise your glass, raise your glass. Oh, raise your glass. Say raise your glass, hey, raise your glass. Hey, yeah, raise your glass. Hey, raise your glass. Raise your glass with me. Thank you so much. We love you.
That was unbelievable. You guys absolutely killed it. Thank you all for being here with us. Be sure to check out the reception area if you want some of Philly's favorites. I guess it's just us. But we do have coffee, we have federal donuts, we have ice cream. Enjoy yourself, and thank you all again.